Winning more fights in Rust is super simple, and it's actually not just all about mechanics, crazy aim or recoil control. You need to be using these fundamental tips if you want to succeed at the game. These are the things that pros do, which allow them to dominate on the server and consistently win fights. And to help you become better, I will show you how to actually fight like a pro in Rust. Unfortunately, most Rust guides will tell you to just practice your aim and recoil control, but pros are different. They are thinking about their positioning, movement, strategies and baits to outsmart their opponents. And yeah, in this guide, I'll break it all down so you can do it too. But before that, be sure to hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel and check out today's sponsor. Rust Clash is the only place you need to go if you want to dive into case battles. You can climb 3 free cases by using code STELIC or clicking the link in the first comment. Rust Clash also has a lot of new game modes like Tiles or Crash for you to test your luck. They have many deposit methods, including crypto, cards and skins, and instant withdrawals with a store full of skins or any crypto. Don't forget about the free rain feature, which gives you random drops every 30 minutes, so you can get even more rewards. Climb your 3 free cases right now by clicking the link in the first comment, or go to rustclash.com and use code STELIC. Please remember, loot boxes sites can be addictive, so make sure you're over 18 and only spend money you can afford to lose. Good luck! The first trick I want to show you will help you win more fights on both water and land. Open the console by pressing F1 and type in these 2 commands. I leave these keybinds in the description below, so you can just copy them. These commands allow you to decrease and increase the draw distance, which will help you see objects, animals and other players in the distance more easily. However, in addition to this, if you start spamming these 2 buttons, at some point the water will turn black. If you have a good PC, it will last a few seconds. If you have a bad PC, this effect will last much longer. At this moment, you will be able to see what's happening underwater and even see other players below you. So, if you use these commands at the right moment, they will give you a huge advantage during PvP. Now, let's go to the options and change one setting that will completely change your perspective of the game. This one setting alone will make your game much easier by allowing you to sneak up behind your enemies without making any footstep sounds, which can be critically important during high-intensity PvP. Go to the Controls tab and enable the Always Sprint setting. At first, it may feel strange, because you will always be sprinting, and if you need to walk slowly, you will need to hold down the Shift key. However, it's much more convenient and offers several advantages. The first advantage is that you can silently sneak up on your enemies from behind. To do this, simply hold down the W button and smoothly and consistently press the Ctrl key. This will allow you to completely remove the sound of your footsteps. The second advantage is that you don't have to hold down the Shift key all the time, because you're sprinting 99% of the time anyway. But when you need to walk slowly, you press Shift, which is much more convenient and logical. The next thing you need to know to win more fights is when to reload first and when to heal first. In the previous video, I said that it's better to heal first and then reload if you have to choose which to do first. However, after reading your comments, I realized that I was wrong. There is no universal answer here, and it all depends on the specific situation you find yourself in. You could heal first if your opponent is far away from you, or you have over 10 bullets left. If you have 5 bullets and 20 HP, for example, it would make more sense to reload first 100% of the time. If you get pushed, it won't matter if you have 20 or 35 HP. Popping as a ranger won't help much, since you won't be able to kill anyone with 5 bullets, even if you can survive 1 or 2 more hits. Since you are low on health, your enemy will push and expect you to heal. They won't expect you to pick with 20 HP, so if you pick quickly, fire 3 to 5 bullets and hit them a couple of times, they'll put up a wall and start healing. Now you have over 20 bullets and time to heal, which puts you in a much more powerful position. As you can see, recoil control or aim is not the most important factor in PvP. It's much more important to constantly think and try to predict your enemy's next move, so you can catch him in an unexpected position. Remember, it's all about being unpredictable. Of course, having more HP is great, but making the risky play and picking with the 20 HP you have is the right choice most of the time. And now, a quick question. What do you guys prefer, to heal first or to reload first? Because I thought that healing first was much more logical until I read your comments under my previous video, which convinced me that I was wrong. Maybe you have a different opinion on this. But let's also look at the second situation. For example, your enemy is far away and you have time to heal first. Never stand still while you are using bandages or syringes. Also, don't jump or peek by pressing the A and D buttons to get information about your enemies, because this is very slow and dangerous for you. One wrong move and you'll get a random bullet in the head. By the way, this is the most common rookie mistake that I see all the time. Jumping or slowly peeking out from behind the wall when you need to get information. Instead, stand sideways against the wall. Use Alt to turn your head, hold down the Shift key and peek from behind the wall using the W and S buttons. Just check how it looks from your enemy's side. In which case do you think it will be easier for him to hit you, the first or the second? By using these little tricks, you increase your chances of winning any fights many times over. Another highly effective yet non-obvious way to win more fights is to use Vanicles. If you're playing with a group of 2 or more people, my best advice is to get a camper model, because it's a game changer. First of all, you get a respawn point right in the middle of the action, and you don't have to wait for the cooldown, like after you throw a sleeping bag, so you already have an advantage over other players in that area. Second, you can store loot that you have already won during PvP inside the camper. And even if you get killed, you can instantly respawn in the camper, grab the equipment you need and rush back into battle. And lastly, you will have a movable wall to cover bodies from enemy fire. Plus, you can place barricades without leaving your camper. This way you can stay safe all the time. So, as you can see, for groups of 2 or more, this is the biggest game changer in combat. For those of you who like to fight at night, or if you find yourself in a sudden PvP in the dark, never take the high ground. During the day, whoever is on the high ground always has the advantage, because they can peek and hide at any moment. But at night, everything changes. Of course, you can also peek and hide, but you are much easier to spot, because your body stands out against the sky. Just take a look at how your enemy will see you from below, and remember that you won't be able to see him at all, unless you have night vision goggles or a flashlight. If you have night vision goggles, then you can safely take the high ground to gain an advantage. However, you need to take a few steps to get the most out of night vision. First, use the clapping emotion to get rid of this annoying sound. And second, change the color of the hollow side from red to blue. This will make the sight less blurry and help with visibility. Now, let's discuss another aspect of the game that sets pros apart from beginners. And I'm talking about baits. The first and simplest bait is to use the bait weapon first. For example, you have a crossbow and a P250. You start the fight by shooting with the crossbow, get a few hits and run away pretending that you have a low HP. Next, you hide behind a wall or any cover and rush out at your enemy with a P250. In 9 out of 10 cases, you will be able to catch him off guard. Another way to use bait is to shoot a couple of times into the air in one spot, and then immediately run to a different spot where you can see all your surroundings. Again, in 9 out of 10 cases, you will be able to catch your enemies off guard, because they won't expect you to be there. This trick is especially good on monuments such as airfield or launch site, because there are many places to hide. But the best bite is when your enemy thinks that he has killed you. You took a lot of damage, then started screaming in the voice chat that you had fallen and needed help. At the same time, you changed your position, getting ready to sneak up behind the enemy. Your opponent happily runs up to loot your body with a syringer in his hands, when suddenly you jump out with a shotgun right at him. I guarantee that after this, you will feel like a genius in Rust. By the way, tell me your worst PvP death story, or how you fell for someone else's bait. I'm really interested in reading your stories. And remember, no matter how good do you think you are, there's always a 10-year-old Chinese or Russian child who can destroy you without any chance of winning. So don't take this game too seriously. First and foremost, you should enjoy the game, and don't turn this hobby into an obsession. Now, you know how to fight like a pro. But pros don't just win fights. They also build amazing bases, create electrical circuits, and do a bunch of other things you don't even think about. That's a whole different game. So if you want to learn more about Rust, then here are 20 pro tips that every Rust player should know. Whether you've been playing the game for thousands of hours or you are a complete beginner,